confusion sometimes. So I hope after tonight's sharing, everyone will at least have a good knowledge and also good information about carbs, at least at the foundation level. Okay. And we don't have the when we have a better understanding, we also know better how to actually plan our meal and also plan our diet, so that we do not fall into the trap whereby, oh, I try to cut the carbs, but then at the same time you didn't realize there's a lot of other food also containing carbs, right? So that is also one of the things that I will explain in later part of my sharing. Okay, so first of all, I think to answer the question that I asked you all just now, is starch the same as carbs? Is carbs the same as sugar? Sugar the same as fiber or not? Okay, they are actually related. Okay, but all is under the big umbrella of carbohydrate. So you all can see here, the first thing we have to be clear and also make ourselves understand is the concept of carbohydrate. Okay, everything that I mentioned just now is under the category of carbohydrate. We have 7 different categories of nutrition, and carbohydrate is one of the category. Okay, but then under carbohydrates, we have many types of carbohydrates. So first of all, we can actually segregate it into 2 main category, 2 main group. Okay, so the first group is the simple carbohydrate. Another group is actually complex carbohydrate. So when we look into simple carbohydrate, it can be further break down into 2 types. One is monosaccharides. Another is the disaccharides. Okay, so as the name suggests, mono normally refer to one singular, right? So monosaccharides actually refer to carbohydrate with only one molecule. Okay, so for disaccharide, actually D normally refers to 2 or more. Okay, so for disaccharide is actually made up of 2 and to 5 or more molecules. Okay, so when we talk about simple carbohydrate, now you have an impression. Actually, simple carbohydrate refer to carbohydrate where the molecules is in a smaller amount. Okay, either one singular molecule only or 2. Okay, so when this one simple carbohydrate, right, there are actually 3 category. So first is glucose, fructose, and also galactose. Okay, so glucose, fructose, galactose, I think we also heard of it before. Just that in the day-to-day, we actually meet up with all these terms at the different place. Sometimes you saw it in the nutrition label, sometimes you saw it in the billboard, or you saw it in the newspaper, right? So now at least we know all this is actually under the category of carbohydrate, okay, regardless what kind of sugar. Okay, so this is just the 3 types of simple carbs. Okay, so any combination of these 2, right, you will actually form disaccharide. Okay, so disaccharide actually consists of sucrose, maltose, and also lactose. Okay, so this is also some of the name will be familiar to you, but then for example, like lactose normally is we referring to milk. Okay, so that means milk, even without process, right, inside already got carbohydrate content, and the carbohydrate content is actually coming from a simple carbohydrate types. And which category is disaccharide, because it's lactose, right? So same goes to other things, like for example, certain types of starch, they will contain maltose. Okay, so it might be complicated with a lot of terms, but here I think we just need to align one thing, which is in carbs, there are 2 main categories. One is simple carbs, one is complex carbs. So now we are covering for simple carbs. Simple carbs, we only need to know they are made up of very few molecules. That means it can be easily absorbed by the body, okay, and easily break down by the body. So if I ask you a question, taking simple carbs, is it good or not? Okay, so for people who is under weight management, definitely it's not good, because if let's say your body is so easily break down simple carbs and easily absorb into your body, that means your sugar level will be spiking and also increasing. Okay, so another one is actually complex carbs. So when we talk about complex carbs, is actually involve a lot of different molecule forming a long chain. So that's why we call it a polysaccharide. So the polysaccharide consists of three main categories also. So the first one is actually starch. So just now I asked you about the question, starch same as the carbohydrate or not. Actually now you know how to answer already if people ask you. Okay, starch is one type of carbohydrate and is actually a complex carbohydrate. Okay, so we have starch, fiber, and also glycogen. Okay, so for starch, there are also two types as mentioned here. So fiber also we have two different types, and glycogen normally is a end product of the storage for carbohydrate. Okay, normally stored in the human and also in the animal body, in our muscle and also liver. So if let's say we eat excess of carbohydrate, normally it will store in the form of glycogen in our muscle and also in our liver. All right. So when I ask again, if let's say today we are given the choice to eat carbohydrate, of course we need to go for the complex carbohydrate, because complex carbohydrate is the one that actually harder for our body to break down, and then it actually slow down the absorption. So the benefit of it is actually it gives us a longer time, okay, to digest it, and it's also make the feeling of full last longer. Okay, so this just give you a picture so that you easier for you to understand, because the earlier slide is just to understand the concept, how many types and what category that we have. But under each of the types and category actually is relatable to our daily food consumption. So for on the left hand side, you can see already simple carbs normally is for things that are already refined. So you'll be surprised white rice actually fall under refined. Rice, if let's say you straight away harvest from the paddy field, right, is actually under complex carbs. But most of the rice that we have in the market is actually a refined white rice. That means you cook already, wow, very soft one, okay, very nice to eat one. So that kind of white rice is actually a simple carbs already, because under the process and the refined process, actually they have removed a lot of the fiber and the starch inside. And then that is the reason why the moment we eat this kind of white rice into our body, the absorption is very fast. So for people who would like to eat a lot of rice, normally they will be having a risk to be obese. So in our weight management program, normally we'll ask to do a substitution, or actually to control the portion. So if you, let's say you still go for the white rice, you have to control a portion, or you can actually substitute using brown rice or other higher fiber rice option. Okay, so in the refined, we also have a table sugar, syrup, okay, juice, soda, candy. Of course, all this is directly using sugar to produce, right, some of the processed food. Okay, so the processed food, most of the micronutrient and fiber has been removed. Okay, there's no health and also nutrition value inside. Okay, so for natural simple carbs, we also have fruits, sugar in dairy, like I mentioned just now. Milk is actually containing lactose naturally, okay, even without the process. Okay, so for fruits, is also simple carbs, because the fruits that we know normally is coming from sucrose and fructose. So all this is immediately will be absorbed and also utilized by our body. Okay, so when we undergo the weight management program, sometimes people go for juicing and so on, but it really have to take care on the consumption of the amount of the juice that you drink, because if you overdo it, okay, juicing itself can also be something that contribute to a very high sugar level, and at the same time it also can contribute excess carbohydrate in the body, and in the end it will be transferred into fat as well. Okay, so on the right hand side, complex carbs are things that come with very high fiber. Okay, that means you eat this amount, but inside this total amount of weight, inside contains a lot of fiber, starch, all that. Okay, especially is very good for, if let's say it contains fiber, because fiber is something that our body not able to digest and also absorb. So it will just helping the food to go through. Okay, so but then at the same time it gives you that fullness feeling. Okay, so you can see the example here is actually vegetable, oatmeal, okay, brown rice, quinoa, beans, okay, seed nuts, and also whole grain. and many more. Okay, so this is the hardest type of carbs for the body to break down into sugar. Okay, so causing the most balanced blood sugar impact of all types of carbs. So if today you are given the chance to choose what kind of carbs to input into your body, okay, always go for the one that is complex. So you can recognize some of the example here. Right, so now we know the concept about carbohydrate already. And then I think now we need to understand the health aspect of it. Because a lot of people think, okay, I maybe eat a lot of rice, but I might not be end up with bad health, right? So what is the relationship between taking too many carbohydrate, and in the end we are facing the health risk? Okay, so there are actually a very close relationship between this. But first of all, we need to understand the concept of utilization of energy. Okay, what is the reason why we consume carbohydrate, protein, and also fat? Okay, so these three macronutrients basically is actually to produce energy for our body. Okay, and it has to undergo a process inside our body with the existence of oxygen. So that is what you can see here. The TCA cycle is actually a process whereby they convert, okay, whatever we intake as a carbs into energy with the presence of oxygen. Okay, so it will actually produce heat and energy so that our body got the energy to do the daily activities and so on. So once it's broken down, it will produce the byproduct, okay, carbon dioxide and also water. Okay, but as you can see on the bottom dimension, since if let's say there's an excess of sugar or carbohydrate being consumed by one particular person, okay, it will be excess and it will be stored as a fat. Okay, so the general advice is actually to try avoid consuming too much. Okay, how to know is too much? I can tell you generally Malaysian is definitely consuming too much. Okay, because if we ask ourselves, if we do not undergo any weight management, or we do not have a good knowledge on nutrition, right? Normally from day to day, from breakfast you eat roti canai, is already carbohydrate. Okay, nasi lemak is also carbohydrate. Okay, your lunch, your mixed rice, nasi campur, all that is also carbohydrate. When it comes to dinner, probably you eat at home, you might still cook noodle or rice, is also carbohydrate. So there's no any case that we normally see which says that a particular person is deficiency in carbohydrate. Is almost not happening before. Okay, so it's impossible for us to be deficient in carbohydrate. We will, especially in Malaysia, most of the time we will only be consuming too much. Okay, so our only thinking is try to reduce the intake of carbohydrate by controlling the portion. We can follow the suku separuh, and best if let's say you can replace the simple carbs with the complex carbs. Okay, so once we understand the logic behind the energy conversion, then we start to talk about some of the very common disease that will actually lead to death. Just like tonight's topic, actually our topic is the silent killer. So why we say silent killer is because carbohydrate actually contribute to a lot of diseases. Okay, it's actually the root cause for a lot of diseases in Malaysia. Okay, so the first one that we will discuss is actually diabetic. Okay, so for diabetes, is it caused by carbohydrate or sugar intake? Okay, so for type 1 diabetic, probably not. Okay, but for type 2 diabetic is closely and largely related to our diet plan and also our lifestyle. Okay, so if let's say, but let us understand first what is the difference between type 1 and also type 2. So type 1 is basically, as per mentioned here, is an autoimmune condition whereby our insulin is actually a hormone to help to regulate our sugar level in our body. So this is actually an autoimmune condition whereby our insulin has been blocked being produced inside our body. Okay, so it's attacked by our own immune system and can no longer produce insulin. So the moment when we cannot produce insulin, insulin is a hormone that actually helps to convert whatever carbohydrate come in, you will have to convert it and also utilize it. So if let's say with the absence of this hormone, the sugar level definitely will spike very high. So it will cause a diabetic condition. Okay, so it's commonly found in children or adolescents, but can also occur in the older people. Okay, symptoms present themselves very fast. How about type 2? So type 2 is normally associated with the individual health and also lifestyle habit. So this is what I say. If let's say today you are not yet a diabetic patient, touch wood, okay, you can actually prevent or reduce the risk of getting one. If let's say today we start learning to live a healthy lifestyle and start to control our carbohydrate intake, okay, and you can see the type 2 can be developed at any age, because any age also have the potential that undergo a very bad lifestyle. Okay, you can be very young, but every day you consume a lot of carbohydrate, you drink a lot of beer and so on, you actually contribute to this type 2 diabetic. Okay, so symptoms take a long time to present themselves. So normally, sometimes people who has the diabetic type 2, they do not know they have the diabetic, okay, unless they go for the test. Okay, unlike type 1, whereby the symptoms normally is very prominent and very fast they will realize. Okay, so what the similarity between 1 and 2 is that regardless of whether you are type 1 or type 2, right, whether you already have type 1, you just want to reduce the complication, or you haven't got the type 2, you want to avoid having it, okay, by having a low sugar diet or low carbohydrate diet, okay, as well as saturated fat, try to reduce, okay, with the regular exercise, it can actually help to lower the blood sugar level for type 2 diabetic. And at the same time, even if you are already existing type 1 diabetic, it can reduce the complication. So when we say reduce complication, it improves your life quality, right? So doesn't matter whether today you are type 1 or type 2, by having this understanding, we can actually help to improve it. So when we have overtake sugar or carbohydrate on our daily diet, right? For brain, probably is good, because normally we need carbohydrate for our brain energy, for our brain to stimulate the dopamine and also feel good chemicals that trigger sugar craving and affect our mood. Okay, also energize us and also easier for us to analyze and think, right? But there's a timing, right? Okay, normally for our brain activities is more active during the daytime. Okay, so but then formulation diet, we normally intake carbohydrate all the whole day. Okay, so it's already too much. When it's too much, it will not be good for our heart, our liver, and also our joint. Okay, so for our heart, normally diet that is high in sugar, it can be causing our bloodstream to be clotting, and then the high insulin level normally will also increase the risk of our heart disease. Normally, if let's say you eat a lot of carbohydrate, body automatically will release a lot of insulin. But then when too much of insulin being released, it will actually affect our heart health. So liver, excess sugar taking will also give burden to our liver, because sugar, too much of sugar, that actually it will actually store as a fat, right? Just now we also know it will store as a fat in our muscle and also liver. So imagine if let's say it keeps storing in the liver unused, it will cause fatty liver, and then it will cause also liver cancer if let's say go to the very critic stage. Okay, so joint is actually our whole body also got different joint. Your leg and also our hand, all the movable area is also connecting by joint. So do you know that eating too much sugar can also lead to inflammation? So sometimes when you feel pain at your joint, right, it's due to inflammation, or if due to you already don't have the joint liquid or that. Okay, so but eating sugar can worsen that symptoms. Okay. So other than some of the health impact that I've mentioned, I think here also outlines some other health risks that we might have if let's say we continue to overeat carbohydrate on a daily basis. So of course, heart disease already mentioned just now. Of course, stroke is a bundle package. If let's say we have a heart disease, we don't have a good blood circulation, definitely stroke will follow after that. Okay, and then depression and also anxiety. We might also have a sleep problem. We have asthma. It might cause cancer that I mentioned just now, liver disease, reproductive complication is also one of it. Because sugar and carbohydrate, the moment we intake too much, right, it will actually give us obesity first. Okay, it will cause obesity and also overweight issue. So whenever we start to have obesity and overweight, all these problems will come out. Okay, osteoporosis and also back pain, when your body is too burdened with all this weight, right, definitely it will come. And like I mentioned just now, type 2 diabetic is definitely related to what you intake on the daily basis. So when we say it's a silent killer, it's not the one who actually say it. It's based on statistic and is still ongoing even up to this year. Okay, so this is just a past statistic, but it's also close enough for us to refer as a reference, right? So you can see every year is increasing without drop. Okay, and then this is actually the number of death, and the percentage is based on the total death. It's not based on the total death caused by diseases. It's caused by all kinds of accident. It can be any kinds of cause, okay, not only diseases. And still, heart diseases have ranked number 1 as the one that actually take away our life. So you can see 2018 is still standing at 15.6%, 18 over 1,000 people there. Okay, so I think this is very, very alarming, especially for us. If let's say we know about this, the importance of conveying the message and also information, sharing information about the right concept on carbohydrate, I think we can also play a little bit of our part to reduce the number at least. Okay, so in terms of consumption, I think this is getting closer to us already on a day-to-day basis. So every day when we consume carbohydrate, we also get to know some of the terms that we might know or we might not know what is the meaning. So let us talk through some of the consumption that we need to know, okay? But at least we have to know what it means. So when we talk about GI, is normally referring to carbohydrate, and also for things, food that containing carbohydrate. So GI referring to glycemic index. So what is glycemic index? Basically, sometimes we only know, oh, if let's say it's too high, it's not good, but too low is good. Okay, but what does it mean to me? I think first we need to know first, right, before we just follow what is the reading. Okay, so basically this GI is representing how quickly one food can actually affect our blood sugar. In other words, the glucose level in our body, okay, when it's being eaten on its own. Okay, so that means if let's say one particular food after you eat, immediately and very fast, it can boost up your sugar level in your blood. That means the GI level is high. Okay, so for food that is GI level low, that means it's good in a way. It helps to maintain a stability in the sugar level. But does it mean food with the low GI is lower in sugar level? No. Okay, so this is the important thing that we need to know. GI, what is the meaning? It doesn't mean that food with a low GI is generally lower in the sugar content. No. Okay, it only means that it actually slower in making the sugar level in our blood spike. Okay, but then of course certain low GI food, it can also be very high in sugar, just that it take longer time to release in our body. That's why the stability is there, so the GI is low. Okay, so but if let's say you consume in a large amount, it might also give an adverse effect on our health. So don't have a misconception whereby, oh, I know this is low GI food, then I keep consuming it a lot. Okay, you might end up giving you the same bad effect also. Right? So but then if let's say it does not represent the sugar content inside that food, then why do we go for a food which is low GI? So I already remarked at down here, is because low GI food actually help us to feel fuller for the longer time. Because the moment you eat the low GI food, it will not spike your insulin that fast. Okay, you will generally control your insulin level at the more stable level. Okay, if let's say a high GI food, right, if you consume, you will immediately spike your insulin level. So when insulin level spike immediately very fast, it helps to convert all the sugar into energy very fast as well. But it also make you feel hungry back very fast. So if let's say for a person who do not have discipline or they easily triggered by their craving, once the insulin already settled all the food, you immediately want to eat again. So you end up eating a lot. So that is the downside of taking food with a high GI index. But if let's say low GI index, by right, it should give you feel fuller for longer, right? But if let's say you tak jaga mulut, you didn't take care of your craving, you still eat a lot of portion. Or if let's say you already know, oh, this is low GI, you thought it's good, and then you eat more portion. So end up, it will also give your body that excess sugar and excess carbohydrate, which is no good. So the purpose of GI is basically for us to identify a better option only. Okay, you still eat that one portion, but you identify a better option to intake. Okay, it doesn't mean the sugar content inside is lower or what. Okay, so on the left hand side, you can see which one is actually low in GI. It's basically things which is high in fiber. For example, fruits, vegetables, okay, some of the seafood, okay, and in medium, some of very easily spike the sugar level one is some of the common food like oranges, all that is also considered medium. But for the one is high, definitely, no doubt, all the processed food, all the very direct sugar, okay, white rice, corn, okay, potato, cake, all that, okay, beer, also and also fast food, all is high GI. That means immediately you consume, you will spike your insulin. And I'm not sure whether you realize or not, if let's say you eat fast food, normally you already consume one portion, which is not a small portion, but you also feel hungry very fast. That is the reason behind, the science behind it, as per what I explained just now, because it's high in GI. Okay. So another concept that we need to know in the consumption of carbohydrate is that now we know already juice is also containing carbohydrate and is containing the natural sugar, so-called natural sugar. So if let's say we are given an option to consume, of course, fruits is generally a healthier option because if let's say we consume fruit, inside there is a fiber, and also it gives us that fuller feeling. Okay, as you can see, the GI is in the low and the medium category. Okay, but then if let's say today we go with the juice, right, which is most of the juice out there in the market when they prepare readily for you, is without the fiber. So here you can see two examples. Okay, with the same amount of calorie, but then you have zero fiber, and at the same time, you are consuming the same amount of sugar. So the message here is that, is it you can consume 5 oranges at one go? No, right? So it's better for us to consume the entire fruits, but at the same time, we still get that calorie and nutrition that we want, but we don't overshoot on the calorie. We also have fiber that will help our body to do a better digesting. Okay, so some people that do not have enough nutrition knowledge, they will just every day go for juicing. Okay, so you also not sure whether after juice how many nutrition left. Now we are just showing in terms of the sugar level and also the fiber, but definitely the nutrition will be oxidized also, right? Certain of the nutrition. Okay, so in terms of the processed food, I think there's no doubt everyone should be on the same page that most of the processed food is majority of the portion inside is definitely carbohydrate, because carbohydrate among all the 7 nutrition is the cheapest nutrition. When we say cheapest, it's like the cheapest one. Okay, if you, let's say today you are a manufacturer, you want to produce a product, you put in a lot on carbohydrate, you put a lot less on other nutrition, definitely you will be profitable. That's the concept. So on the left hand side, you can see one example that a lot of us definitely know. Okay, when we are being raised, okay, we definitely drink it before, which is Milo. So you can see Milo, this one particular sticks, one stick is 33 grams. Can you imagine almost half of it inside is actually sugar? Okay, so you can see here, if you read the label, right, total sugar is 14 grams. 14 times 2 is already 28, is almost the full size of the serving. So in this one whole pack, right, half of it is actually carbohydrate. Actually more than half is carbohydrate. Just that 14 grams is actually sugar. So that is the reason why I said when you want to make a lot of profit, you just put in a lot of carbs, a lot of carbohydrate, and carbohydrate can be starch, it can be fiber, it can be sugar, all these things. Okay, is cheapest cost of good. So on the right hand side, you can see this is not Maggi. This is actually it's Maggi brand, but it's not instant noodle. It's actually sauce. So the reason why I put sauce is just to let we all know also the sauce that we consume on the day-to-day basis. Okay, because sometimes when we want to eat, right, we also consume, okay, maybe you follow suku separuh, but then if let's say you eat too much of all this kind of sauce, right, the sugar level is very high also. Can you imagine why the sauce will become so dense and also sticky? Is because of the sugar content. Okay, so same thing, one serving size 15 gram, how many of it inside is actually sugar? So you see 15 gram inside, carbohydrate already 6.6. So they didn't break down the sugar, okay, because Malaysia nutrition label is optional. You can actually label out how many sugar inside, or you can just go with the macronutrients, which is fall under carbohydrate category 6.6. So 6.6 is also almost 50% already. So one drip of this sauce, inside half of it is actually carbohydrate. So can you gain weight through sauce? Depend on how many, are you a sauce lover? If I say, if you eat fried chicken, you have to dip the sauce every bite, then you can imagine how many carbohydrate go in together with your meal. Okay, so that is how this will also in the hidden format go into our body. On the bottom one is actually, can you guess what it is? It is actually the one of the most popular salad dressing. Okay, so this is roasted sesame. I saw a lot of people who want to go for healthy lifestyle, they do salad, all that, and then they use this roasted sesame. Of course, dressing there's a lot, okay, but the more common one is normally the one that higher in the calorie. Okay, so roasted sesame is one of a very common one. So you can see in one serving is actually 15 ml. Okay, so in this 15 ml serving size, how many sugar? 2.7 gram. Okay, not really a lot, but you will feel a lot once you know how we calculate sugar. This one teaspoon of sugar is 4 gram. So just now the sauce, the sesame roasted, if let's say only 15 ml, just one squeeze on it, got 2.7. 2.7 is close to 3 gram, right? 3 gram is just 1 gram away to 1 teaspoon. So if you squeeze 2 times, 2 teaspoons, squeeze 3 times, and so on. So you can see, if let's say today we want to go for a healthy lifestyle, but we do not know all this hidden thing, and we are still consuming, hey, how come I eat salad every day already, but I still didn't go down the weight a lot, or it's not so effective on me? Is because we have the good intention, but we do not have a good information. That is the lacking part. If let's say today we just blindly we Google here a bit, Google there a bit, but we do not have a holistic view on what each of the nutrition and what, or at least know how to read the nutrition label for the product that we buy outside. Okay, so this is just a general reference. The sugar consumption, of course, we need sugar and also carbohydrate intake so that our body have energy to do the day-to-day. We can also resort to protein or also fat. But of course, fat is not a good option. We can go for protein. Okay, high protein can help to give us the energy as well. So this is just a general reference for ladies, 6 teaspoon, and then for guys is a 9 teaspoon. Okay. So today, when we talk about carbohydrate topic, you will not sway away from nutrition that we have in Nutrilite. Okay, so when we talk about carbs, the first thing that come into our mind is definitely our carbohydrate blocker plus, which is known as CV plus. Okay, so this CV plus is not a product, not a simple product, because inside the ingredients has been researched properly that will actually help to block carbohydrate. Okay, so the patented ingredient inside is actually this kidney bean extract, 167 milligram, and 100 milligram of this soybean extract, and then plus with the parsley. These three ingredients add up is a ingredient blend which is patented. Okay, so the first one, the kidney bean extract, actually helps to inhibit this one, I don't know how to pronounce. And then the soybean extract also helps to inhibit a types of enzyme. But generally, we just need to know these two kinds of enzyme, right? It's actually an enzyme to help carbs digestion. Okay, so if let's say this enzyme has been blocked from digesting the carbs, right? That means the carbs will not be absorbed or be blocked from processed by our body. So that is how it helps us to actually block the digestion up to 500 carbohydrate calorie. But you have to consume 1 to 3 tablets per serving. Okay, so I normally take 3 if before a heavy starchy meal or before a heavy carbs meal, I will take 3 tablets, and then that basically can help us to block up to 500 calorie of carbohydrate. So on top of that, it also helps to improve our blood sugar, and also it will aid in our weight loss process, curbs our appetite, and also block the digestion of complex and also simple carbs, help us feel fuller longer. So this is very familiar, right? Just now we keep mentioning you will feel fuller longer if let's say you consume complex carbs, right? Because complex carbs is the one that will not spike our sugar level that fast, and it also lasts longer in our digestion system. So this is the function of CV+. If let's say you intake CV+, right, you will also make your simple carbs to have that feeling, because it actually block the enzyme of digesting. Okay, and so the first one, white kidney bean help inhibit the activity of enzyme that digest starch. So for soybean extract, inhibit the activity of enzyme that digest maltose and sucrose into simple sugar that body can absorb. So both of the extract basically is targeting different types of carbohydrate. One is for starch, one is for maltose and also sucrose, which is a simple carbohydrate. So just now we understand the concept of carbohydrate already. So when I share now, you have a better understanding. So the function of parsley is not only for general health, at the same time, it also acts as a function to give that refreshing smell, okay? Because this tablet, if let's say you consume it before, there's actually some smell from the kidney bean and also the soybean. So the parsley actually help to reduce the bloating effect, and also some help to make the smell even fresher, okay? So on top of CV+, of course, we have to relate back to what we have this month, which is launching on the 15th. If let's say you do not place advance order, starting 15, we can already promote and also share on this Noxxa low sugar rice cooker, okay? And this is just a perfect market to launch this product, because in Malaysia, like I said, everyone loves eating rice, okay? Nasi goreng or nasi lemak or whatever nasi also got the rice, right? So white rice, we all know already, is definitely a simple carbs and is very high in sugar content. And 73% of Malaysia die because of hypertension, diabetic, and also heart disease. Like I mentioned just now, the number 1 killer is actually heart disease contributed, and fat and also carbs contributed a lot to this category of patient. So the rising trend in weight gain among Malaysians is also very serious. At least the statistic is showing, if you go out today, you meet 2 people, at least one is actually obese or have the weight problem. Okay, so this is definitely a product here to help them, because it will first help to reduce the starch by 41%. So who can actually we promote to? People who is having diabetic issue, people who have the obesity, excessive weight gain, people have the high cholesterol problem, high blood pressure, or metabolic problems, okay? Because when you have the lower starch, it also help to improve your body metabolism. So for people who have health conscious, even they do not have a weight issue or they are just healthy only, the more they will appreciate this kind of product, because it helps them to maintain this kind of healthy lifestyle. Okay, and then of course for elderly people, if let's say you have elderly people at home, this will help them to have a healthier rice. Low sugar rice program, suitable for cooking all type of rice. There's a touch screen control panel. It can also help to keep warm 24 hours. There's a preset timer up to 12 hours. And it's not only a rice cooker. There's actually 10 different types of cooking menu. So it's a multi-functional cooker, so to say. But of course, the main selling point is it helps to reduce the starch if let's say you cook rice. Okay, there's a 3 liter capacity and also 5 liter capacity. If let's say you do not input the ceramic strainer, it can up to 5 liter of capacity, whereby you can actually boil soup, you can cook other things. Okay, so this is the interface of the top, whereby it's very intelligent. You can just click and also touch what is the function that you go to, and it's very easy to use. How it actually cook the rice in 3 stage is: first stage, boiling it, and then you'll be leaching it. Leaching is actually leaching the water into the inner pot and away from the rice, so that the rice remain at the strainer. So that is how it actually helps to reduce the starch content inside the rice. And then it undergo another process of steaming. Okay, so 1 bowl of white rice daily actually increase your percentage of getting this diabetic. Of course, we are referring to diabetic type 2. Okay, you'll be getting this diabetic type 2, the risk up to 11%. Okay, if let's say we consume 1 bowl of white rice on a daily basis. But today, if let's say we can reduce that possibility into half, which is 41% less starch, right? Of course, it will reduce your risk by almost half. Okay, so it's really, really a wonderful product. And 3 types of starch in food that we need to know. Okay, one is the rapidly digestible starch, which is RDS, and we have a slowly digestible starch, which is SDS, and also amylase resistant starch, RS. So how this product helps is actually it helps to remove the one which is rapidly digestible starch, RDS. Okay, it helps to remove this. Okay, and this function and also this claim of 41%, right, is been certified by this SGS. Okay, so it's have a proper certification that it can does it. It's not just that Amway selling, Amway say so, or the ABO say so. Okay, it's all based on this certification, and the certification is also available to download if let's say your customer, your friends is wanting to see it. Okay, so it's not just a rice cooker, more than 10 different functions. You can do yogurt, you can do porridge, soup. Okay, you can also cook rendang thing, okay, steam vegetable and so on. You can do slow cook. All right, so this is definitely worth for us to keep sharing, because if let's say it will only be available on the 15th, and hopefully by 15th we still have ready stock, okay, then we can actually start placing 15 already. So take this opportunity as now until 15 as the opportunity for us to look through our name list, or look through our prospect and people around us who actually need this or looking for this, or you have friends that moving to a new house and you guys are brainstorming what to give them. Actually, this is actually a good idea, right? You can actually pool the money together with friends and actually give this as a gift to the people who move to the new house. So many ways that we can actually share this product. And now we have actually about 10 days for us to do all this planning. And when it comes to 15, I hope everyone will be able to have the first experience on this great product. And of course, not to forget, just now I have shared about the CB Plus also. So for those who undergoing the Own It challenge together with us, we are already taking it. So for those who didn't join the program, but you are also monitoring yourself, or you want to improve in terms of your carbohydrate intake, do try out our CB Plus also. And of course, best is combined with our XS Ignite and also Green Tea Plus together as a bundle, because it targeted all different process in our body, and then you will achieve a better optimal effect. So before we end, let us check out this short video from Amway. Okay, awesome products. Okay, and also a very simple short clip. So it's very convenient for us to also send the clips to people who want to inquire more about this product, how to use it, what is the capacity, what kind of other